The Mind Over Chatter Podcast. The Mind Over Chatter Podcast with Oz and Hog. The Mind Over Podcast. The Mind Over Chatter Podcast with Oz and Hog.
Here we are, episode 1, Mind Over Chatter, the new podcast with myself, Oz, and my good man, Andrew Hogg. Hoggy, how are you?
I'm great. Hi, everybody.
You look great, man. You always look great. What's your secret?
I have oily skin.
Oily skin, is that really the secret to looking
my
great?
My wife tells me that every day.
So you're telling me...
She says, you're like a tortilla pastizzi.
A tortilla pastizzi, explain.
Yeah. Oily,
What's tortilla?
Tray.
A tray of pastits.
A tray of pastizzi. Oily as hell.
Your wife calls you... Are you sure that she doesn't say pastits?
Okay.
A tray of pastits. That would have a different meaning, right?
I have to look into that.
You'd have to look into that. Okay. So, but you're telling me that we're going to start the podcast off with a load of rubbish, which is great because we want to have fun here and just talk about everything. So, tray of pastizzi and oily skin. So, oily skin is the secret to looking great. So, if I lathered myself up, I could look like, I don't know, Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't believe
maybe
you, man.
Maybe you could go for like duck fat or something.
Lard. Should we go with lard? Okay. All right. Let's talk about...
No, but seriously, hold on. Don't,
you want to keep going with this? All right.
Don't leave this.
Okay,
right?
go on. Right. What are you thinking?
No, but seriously, apparently oily skin is the serum.
Okay. I traditionally have oily skin, so...
And you still look young. You're like 60, no? Look at you.
Thank you, man. I dislike you a lot already. No, I'm not like 60. I'm like 49, thank you. And you are like 21?
38.
Oh, I was going off character there. Sorry. Okay, there you go. So you're 38 years old. A slightly immature 38.
Super immature.
Super immature. Well, that's what we love about you. And that's great. That's great. Shall we talk about why we're here?
We should, yes.
Okay, so... We got into this podcast because we are both passionate in our own different ways about mental health. Tell us about why you came into this podcast, why you wanted to hook up with me, not in that sense, but hook up with me and do this podcast, and what's important to you about getting the messages across.
Yeah, so, I mean, you and I had been speaking about this for quite a while. I knew from your previous work about your struggles, right? You've been very vocal about them. I mean, me, like everybody, like many other people in this world, we have our own issues. We struggle as well. They're not really spoken about so openly. I currently am a mental performance coach. I work with athletes and performers mainly. And basically, this is something that as you mentioned, I'm super passionate about, and I think it's our duty as people who are maybe a bit more known in society to have these difficult conversations.
I like that, and it's important to add that you're a certified performance coach. So you're a clinical psychologist, is that correct? How does that work?
No, I am
a sports psychologist.
I am a sports psychologist practitioner. Basically, it means that I'm awaiting my warrant.
You're awaiting your warrant.
Yeah.
Okay.
I work with athletes basically purely on a performance trajectory, basically.
Okay, all right, that's cool.
Yeah.
And just for people who don't know who you are, explain who you are and what you've achieved so far.
So I am a former football player. I played for the Maltese national team 68 times.
Professional football player?
Yeah,
let's
professional
add that,
football player.
Mm-hmm.
I dedicated my life to the sport. That gave me a lot of satisfaction, a lot of experiences. I left the country at a young age, which more than from a footballing point of view, it helped me mature as a human being. Believe it or not, it helped me mature as a human being. Although in my head every day when I wake up, I ask myself, are you seriously 38 years old and you have these thoughts or the banter between me and my partner? Jeez, man.
It never stops. I'm 49. We're still going.
Yeah. And I don't want to lose it, to be honest.
You won't. I don't think you will. I don't think you will.
When I need to be serious, I can be serious, but,
that's how life should be.
But that takes mental energy, though.
What, being serious?
Yeah, being serious takes
Of course
energy.
it does. Yeah, it's very taxing.
It's
Yeah.
draining.
Yeah. I want to go back to your football career. This is not me interviewing you, but you will have to ask me questions now in return, okay?
Yeah.
But I just wanted to comment on your football career. I actually remember you having one good game for Malta.
Yeah, just one.
It was about one.
Yeah.
You were flying all over the place,
yeah,
though.
it was a
What
bit
was
of a
that?
big
Do
occasion.
you remember that game?
Yeah.
That one good game?
Yeah, it was a bit of a big occasion.
Yeah,
I
right.
had like half the country was over there.
What did you eat that day? Oh, it was against England, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
against
against
England.
England.
Now I'm remembering.
Chicken and rice.
Chicken and rice.
Chicken and rice.
That's the pre-game meal, is it? Chicken and rice.
Yeah, and the serum to looking young forever.
Well, there you go.
Chicken and
Chicken
rice.
and rice. Too bad I'm a vegan.
And that's what happens when you only know how to cook chicken and rice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's your go-to, chicken and rice.
Yep.
Okay.
So-
Do you cook anything else now that we're on the subject?
Yeah, look, I can make a mean pasta cheese.
Okay. There's no such thing as a mean pasta cheese. It's just pasta with cheese.
Yeah, well, it's mean.
It's mean. Okay.
Yeah.
It's mean like you throw in half a kilo of pepper or what? What makes it mean?
The way I eat it.
The way you eat it. All right. Fair enough. Ask me some questions
All
now.
right, so let's start with you introducing yourself.
Okay, David Ozzy Borge. You might know me, if you might not know me, I spent 25 years in the media. So I was a radio host beginning my journey in 1995 with an old station called Island Sound Radio. Some of you older folk may remember that. And then I moved with a bunch of people to start up XFM in 2003. And I was there for the most part from 2003 until 2020 with a couple of little breaks in between. So I was on radio for 25 years here in Malta. I also started my own blog, which is, as you said, where I started to be a bit more vocal about my own struggles with mental health. And I am a big football fan. I love sports in general. And not much else. I mean, I'm currently working in recruitment as well. I have my own recruitment company. So that's a little bit about me. Was that enough detail?
Yeah, so how long has it been since the last time that you were behind the mic?
Literally 1 week after COVID hit.
Wow.
So that when COVID hit and they shut everything down. So actually, no, 1 week before.
So what, we're talking 2-3 years?
Yeah, nearly 3.
2.5 years.
No, we're talking nearly 3 years because it was what, February 2020.
And how much have you missed it?
In the beginning, not so much, after such a long period. But now I've missed it quite a lot. Yeah, it was one of the motivating factors as well for me to, I've always wanted to do a podcast. I actually started one on my own, but
Yeah.
you need resources, you need time, you need a bit of help, and that didn't really work out. But I always wanted to do something like this, and I always wanted to have that mental health message because, and we'll discuss obviously through this episode and all the episodes to come, my stories with mental health. I am here to be an open book.
Yeah, so am I.
So I've got nothing to hide when it comes to my mental health, and so I want to get the message out there like you do. And I started doing that with my blog, which it's pretty dormant now. I don't really use it anymore. It was ozuncut.com. There are some tools and some stories still there if anybody wants to visit. But my goal always with speaking out about mental health was just this: if I could help one person, just one, by speaking out about my own struggles, it was worth it.
Absolutely.
And that's why I'm still here today, because I want to help one person. If I can help 2,000, even better.
Yeah.
But just one is enough. And that's kind of why I'm here.
Absolutely.
This is going to be great.
Yeah, I hope
I'm
so.
looking forward to this.
And you know what? You and I have spoken about this before, and like one thing that stuck with me about something you said to me during our conversations was, listen, man, 2023 is about going out there and trying to achieve, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm excited about this, and this is something for me. Let's try and let's see where this takes us. And
100%.
if we achieve, fantastic, and if we fail along the way, that's fine too, because we're going to learn from it.
Absolutely. Look, I had a fucking awful 2022. So 2023 is my year, man. I'm so positive about this year. I'm ready to go, and I just want everything to be super this year. So that's where we're heading. Now, before we end off this very little first segment of the show, because we have a guest every week, and our guest is going to be joining us in just a few minutes' time, we have to talk about something that made us happy this week and something that made us pissed off. Do you want to start?
Yeah, okay. So I kind of went into it already, just slightly. But the things that made me happy this week are the fact that a number of my goals, objectives, dreams, call them what you want, are finally kind of starting. That they're taking shape, both with regards to the podcast, the things that are happening at work, projects, that I've kind of come up with and created, and now they start things that scare me, right? So I'm super happy about these things, and let's see where they take us. Things that totally annoy me: people without boundaries,
People
that don't know when to say stop.
George? We have a story about a certain George.
Yeah, we have a story about George. It's always a George.
It's always a George, isn't it? Okay, cool. From my side, something that made me really happy this week, and we'd like the people who listen to this podcast, that maybe they should do this as an exercise for themselves. At the end of every week, write down what made you happy, what pissed you off.
Yeah,
I think
like
it's a
a
great way to
gratitude.
vent. Yeah, gratitude. It's a great way to vent as well. What made me really happy this week was my son, Zachary, made his first team senior debut for Cavalieri Rugby Club this week. And not only that, he was fucking outstanding. He was brilliant. He was
That's great.
absolutely brilliant. He helped assist the try. He was outstanding. So that was my happy moment. My annoying moment is I ride a bike now, and I'm on the road with a bunch of absolute animals every single day. And what really annoys me is drivers who just don't give a shit. And it's that in essence, it's by itself, but also the greater picture of humanity. Too much of humankind don't care.
Yeah.
That fucking bothers me a lot.
Yeah, I feel you on this one.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page. Okay, very, very cool. We're going to get to our guest in just a few moments, okay? He's going to be walking in the door in just a second, and we're looking forward to it. Shall we mention who the guest is? We can now, I think.
Yeah, go
right?
ahead.
Go on, he's your mate. Go on.
So today we're going to interview Luke Dimech, an ex-teammate of mine, someone who I haven't always agreed with on everything. Right? But I believe he has a great story to tell, and I'm just excited to have him.
Awesome. Let's get him in. Welcome to our humble little podcast. How are you, man?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Not too bad?
You weren't lying with the humbles.
It's it's humble beginnings, my friend,
That's
but
cool.
we all have big aspirations in this room, okay?
Okay, cool.
We're going to get there, man. Do you believe in us? Yes or no?
Yeah, cool. It's. I didn't realise this could be a studio, but yeah.
Character.
Yeah.
Are you claustrophobic by any chance? or-
No, thankfully.
I'm really glad about that because I don't want the wild beasts trying to get out of here. That would not be a good thing for the start of the show.
No, we're good.
How are you in general? All good?
Not too bad.
Just finished work, right?
Just finished work, yeah. Actually, I just escaped from work, yeah.
Escaped from
Yeah,
work?
yeah.
So
I would usually be there till 7, so...
What do you do,
Right, okay.
I guess?
Now I'm a commercial account director at a gaming company.
Commercial
see.
account director.
Yeah.
It's a lot to take in, eh?
Yeah, it's a huge amount to take in. It's a lot of work.
It sounds important, is it?
Yeah, it is a little bit. They put a lot of pressure on you.
How many
Wow.
days a week do you wear a suit to work?
Never.
How many suits do you own?
Probably about 2.
It's obvious you know nothing about iGaming, Andrew. That's for sure. Nobody wears
Oh
suits
no!
in
They
iGaming.
They do wear suits. They do wear suits.
Who wears a suit?
The Swedes do usually.
Really?
Yeah.
That's just because they want to look good and important, though, right?
Yeah.
Not because it's necessary.
Well, I'm hoping like my culture, our company are not that strict, but thankfully.
You guys have like the Friday afternoon beers as well.
Depends, right? So on the operator side, where they would tend to do that. On the provider side, it's a bit less, and our company is a bit more, let's say, not strict, but a bit more
Conservative?
conservative would be. We're an American company, so
Okay, there you go. Now, our aim is not to get Luke fired from his current job, okay, Andrew? So stop digging too deep into the ins and outs of what's happening with his work company, okay?
Listen, man, before
Yeah.
we started, you
Oh,
told
here
me
we
that
go.
I have to be interested in the guest, right? And
You have to be interested in the
genuinely
guest, but you got to
interested in the
draw a
guest.
line. You got to think of the guest's ultimate needs and goals and future.
Well,
all right?
think about our needs.
Maybe he'll join us full time on the podcast after this.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
probably bigger money as well. Big budget.
You ex-footballers, eh? It's all
Yeah.
about the money. My
Right.
God.
That's
My
what's
God.
left. That's what's left after it.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that's left.
So listen, I wanted to dig in a bit, Luke, because the idea of the show is we want to get to know people, right? So tell us a bit about sort of your upbringing, sort of where you came from, your roots, your family, siblings. I know you're from a football family as well. Tell us a bit about sort of the dynamic and how it all started for you.
Okay, so technically born and bred in Malta.
Mm-hmm.
Left Malta in the 80s, I think. I was too young to remember, but I think it was early 80s. Dad was working abroad, so moved to Scotland for the first 4 years, then went to Nottingham for 4 years after that. Family still live in the UK. Older brother, younger brother, both live in the UK, both married, both with kids. And me based out here in Malta. Parents still based in the UK as well.
Close family? Were you like a good unit, or how was it?
Yeah, I guess it's just an average family, right? I wouldn't say we were super close or stuff like that, but it's at the time, it's a long time ago, but we were that odd Maltese couple living abroad.
The Maltesers, right?
The Maltesers were.
And you know, like the old stereotype where they say, or stereotype, whatever, where they say that.
Yeah, you can switch off your phone now, Andrew. Thanks, man. You ruined the whole podcast. Cheers, mate.
Where they say that the middle sibling is the more outgoing one, or a bit like.
Is that true? That's bullshit, isn't it?
You haven't met my middle sibling. You have.
I have met your middle sibling.
And she's so different.
Yeah. Who's the middle one? What,
Emma.
M is the middle one,
Yeah.
right? Okay. All right. I'm the middle.
You know.
All right. What are you trying to say?
No, no.
Okay. I'm the middle as well. So.
You're the middle. Okay. There we go. I'll accept it. All right. Good.
No, technically, yeah. No, middle one, I would say, I wouldn't say. Again, it's different, right? Your first one's, you're always really close for your mum and dad because it was the firstborn. The last one's always the youngest.
Yeah.
The middle one gets all the shit, right? So
Yeah.
I am allowed to swear in this room.
You can swear as much as you want.
Okay, cool. No worries.
We decided not to use the C word. That's the.
Okay, cool.
That's
That's the only rule.
That's the only rule.
I'll keep that out of it then. So you get all the hand-me-downs, you get all the unfair treatment. You're the first one to get picked on as in like it's your fault. And, but sorry.
But good family. You don't hate your fucking parents, or you
No.
don't kill your siblings, none of that stuff.
Parents were very good in the upbringing. Obviously, it was very strict. It was a different time. Morals have changed a lot since then, right? I guess you all know it was a very strict upbringing, but it was one
Was
that
the
taught.
belt involved? It wasn't my
yes,
family. Yeah.
there was a belt a few times, but no, it's there was a belt, a wooden spoon, a shoe, whatever you could find, whatever was close to hand.
Yeah.
Good family values, very, very probably taught us very well on how to be educated and how to act around people and how to conduct yourself. And obviously, brothers are both really well. We get on well when we see each other. Not very close now because obviously they have their own family, but it's like it is. I guess I've always been abroad for most of my life anyway, so far away from them. So, but always close when we get back together.
Very cool, man. Very cool.
Yeah.
Pitch in here, Hoggy.
No, it's not.
Why don't you start asking him about his football? Because I want to know about his football career, obviously, how it started. And, obviously he's one of Malta's, you would have to say, most famous footballers, especially considering his experiences abroad, right?
Yeah, most famous defender.
Most famous defender.
Most famous in terms of looks.
And looks as well.
Most famous.
That can't be true, though. I mean,
You scored for Malta?
Yeah, I did.
one, right? I saw it in your wiki bio.
One against Cyprus.
One against Cypher. Header, I assume?
Yeah.
Header.
That's why
Corner?
No, it's
Free kick?
Free kick.
Free kick.
You took free kicks?
Not from. I scored with a header from a free kick.
That was that was the stupidest question ever. Stupidest ever. You scored from a free kick. You just said it was a header.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my first thought.
Just
Like,
goalkeepers, right? What are you gonna do?
Coggy scored goals.
You scored a goal.
Yeah, in the
I
wrong
scored
end.
two.
Hold
on.
No, one for Patel, he scored.
Exactly.
But for Valletta, he scored in his.
I
own.
scored in my own.
What? like Allison did for Liverpool last
Oh
season.
no!
Corner.
You've got to see the video. It's wonderful.
Really?
It's a really good strike.
We should link it to the podcast.
We'll link it to the podcast. It's obviously one of your You're obviously very proud of it because you want to link it.
No, it's not a very defining word.
Is it not? I gotta. All right, you gotta explain it to me now. I don't need to see the video. Just explain it in words. I have to know.
So basically, I received the back pass.
Right.
I wasn't very confident in my left foot, so I used my
It's
right.
an own goal.
Yeah, it's an own goal.
Oh, I was thinking
And
you
I-
did some
and I-
heroics at the other end.
No, I did that like when I was younger.
Oh, right. Well,
But-
nobody cares about that. Okay. Well,
Okay, yeah,
that
exactly.
doesn't
No,
count.
exactly, no one
Okay,
cares.
Yeah.
And I literally pinged it into the top corner.
Well done.
Amazing.
From a very, very acute angle.
It was,
Was it impressive? Was it? It was very.
it was more like a flip than a shot, really. You know.
Now,
I remember how it rolled off my foot and the sheer horror that filled up inside of me. And
how bad did you feel in that? I mean, like, try and quantify how
Okay.
bad you felt.
all I remember is falling to my knees and the amount of the fans, because there were a lot of fans. It was one of like a decisive game towards the championship, right? And I remember the amount of people like rushing down from the top of the
To strangle you?
the stands to the perspex, like knocking on the.
Really?
I went in at
Your
halftime.
own fans?
Yeah, our fans.
Your own fans?
Everyone wants to kill me, and in halftime, I asked the coach. I said, "Listen, like, take me off."
Nah, you can't do that.
Hold on, I was how old was I? I was 24 years old, right?
He obviously didn't. Right?
And then the coach was like, "Listen, I'm not gonna take you off. You know, deal with it." And I stayed in.
Did you win the game?
Yeah, we won.
Oh, there you go. It's all forgotten then.
Not really.
Except by everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Except
we
by
did
you.
win.
Yeah. Okay. And Luke remembers it clearly, obviously.
Yeah, we were playing together at the time, so I had a couple of swear words to tell him at that time.
It's all right.
So you scored one goal. For how many career goals do you have?
No, I don't know.
No? Was there a few?
No idea. I think it's probably about 7. You probably could tell on the wiki page. I would have no idea. It's not really something that was my forte.
You know, I didn't print it. I was going to print it, and I didn't print it. But I studied it. There was a few. Yeah.
I think there might be about 6. I think maybe 6 or 7. I think probably around that. Not a huge amount. Amount of games probably a lot more. If you count them all together.
Defenders aren't really traditionally there for scoring anyway, are they? They can be a tool.
They can be a tool.
They can be a tool.
Can be. But again, it's yeah. So
Now, I wanted to ask you actually, where do your football allegiances lie?
it's kind of hard to say, right? Because obviously, I don't really watch Maltese football anymore. I don't watch the Maltese national team play at all.
Is there a reason for that?
I've just stopped.
Does it
Everything.
like hurt you because you remember?
No,
what
no. I
was,
just stopped everything. Once I stopped playing football, I just stopped everything.
You're one of those people who just like
I don't
that's
go
it,
to
done.
the-
Next chapter,
Yeah,
sort of thing.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to, I guess. Again, football-wise, I sometimes watch something when there's really nothing else to watch, and if there's something like a Champions League or a World Cup or something.
Okay.
Allegiance-wise, not really much there.
I got to say, this is weird because you're the same. You're kind of the same, right?
Yeah.
Hog, you're the
Yeah.
same. This is two footballers who, after their career, not really that interested in football.
I think we come to a point where we've dedicated so much
Is
of
it
our
that
lives
sort of thing? Yeah.
to our careers, and you know that's.
But you're still working in football.
Yeah, you used to
obviously,
work
right?
there, so
Yeah.
I do, and probably I only continue to watch even the local game, possibly because I have to.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can
like
get
like
that.
for me, it's what you call it. For me, it was I think 21 years. I think playing football, so
Yeah.
professionally,
Yeah.
from the age of 18 up to 39, I think. And
Were you like me? Obviously, now that I've stopped, I start to see everything from a much different perspective, right? When I was playing, kind of the mindset is all. We kind of believe that the world revolves around the sport and what we're doing, and everyone's focused on even though it's Malta, it's a local game kind of thing, and we're just so wrapped up in all of it. We're thinking about the next game, we're thinking about the past game, all it is football.
It's pretty
The
intense,
moment
right?
you
Yeah.
stop, it's like, okay, now I can do whatever I want to do, and the reality is no one is really that focused on what's going on, you know.
Yeah. It's a sort of like the chef that doesn't want to go home and cook, right? That sort of thing. Yeah.
I guess, like I said, for me, it's I don't know. It's just football was football. Football was work. Once I stopped that, it was like, right, what am I doing now?
Yeah.
And
Was it always like that, even when you were young, though? Or?
well, it was a job, right? So technically, where people go, oh, you know, it's you're doing your hobby, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're having, but you don't see it that way. Yes, you see it now. You're older, and you think, yeah, you probably could have enjoyed that a bit more. And there was stuff that you take for granted,
Yeah.
which probably you look at now and think, oh, how stupid was that?
What about like 14-year-old Luke? He must have been a little bit different.
No,
right?
I just like from the age of I started playing football at the age of 9, I think, when we were up in Scotland. So my dad got me with the team, and I started playing. Again, just like a weird Maltese kid with long hair trying to play football, but always very athletically quick and small. But I was always quick, so it was always a good thing. But from my youth, from the age of 9 till the age of, I think it was 17, 18, it was very much focused on football. I used to train every day of the week. Weekends would play 3 games, 2 on a Saturday and 1 on a Sunday. And it was like all week training. I wasn't one of those kids who had a lot of friends who would go and play or go to the cinema, go and do all that kind of stuff. My whole youth up to the age of 16 was focused on football, most of it.
Yeah. And trying to become a professional, I assume, right?
Well, no, it wasn't trying to become, just doing. That's what I used to, like I said, my dad used to push me to do that kind of stuff. I guess it was kind of his I think his lost ambition from when he was younger himself.
Okay, right.
So he would always take me everywhere. Not that it was forced on me, but it was like it was his like he'd always take me to games. He would always push me to play, and you'd hear him shouting in Maltese on the sideline. Everyone's like, "Who's the crazy Maltese guy shouting all these bad Maltese, all these words in a language we have got no idea." I've got like tons and tons of videos, like handheld camera videos of him, just hearing him just swearing at everything. But it was, like I said, it was. That's what the passion was at the time, right? So I didn't really have much else that I would do. It would be football all the time. I think at 16 it was. It was either going to secondary school had finished, and it was like I had an apprenticeship to be a mechanic, which I could have done, and there was a youth training scheme, which is like a YTS. It's where you go and you were under the younger generation of the football team. So I signed up for a 2-year YTS, which is basically you're a slave for the football team.
Sounds fun.
Oh no, it's old school. It's old school culture where you prepare the kit for the player, you clean his boots, you clean the change rooms, you do all this kind of stuff. You train as well with the team, and obviously after 2 years of doing that, you graduate to be either a professional or you don't.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why you were so hard on us when I came into the first team.
And just different cultures, right? So we were about getting beatings in boot rooms if you don't do things right. It was very much like it's not done anymore in that way, but it's just how it was at that time. We're talking about what I think early 90s, 92, 93.
You make it sound a little bit like you're like a really old guy, but you're not, right? Do you feel weathered a little bit, or after a career?
Well, the aches and pains I've got is ridiculous. The amount of, I guess, like the toll that your body takes is huge.
I remember you telling me you don't have cartilages.
No, my knee needs to be replaced. I have like a thickening of the bone in my ankles. I have arthritis on my toes. My back's a mess.
There are two sets of people in life who have these problems. They are athletes and extremely overweight guys. So I have a little inkling of what you're talking about. Yeah.
So, but you're like your body. You are technically like not old as age, but body-wise, your body has taken a huge amount of battering, which normal people probably wouldn't do. Like Hoggy can probably sort of say the same thing with his diving around everywhere, and
my back is messed up.
It's a mess.
Hips as well.
My hips, my back,
everything
like,
kind of just the toll of that running on different surfaces, and especially in multi, you played on the hard ground, then you play on grass, and you play on astroturf, and then you play on shit astroturf, and then you play on something else. It's just like.
But then it's funny, and obviously I'm aware that now you do CrossFit, and I do CrossFit as well, and I don't feel the same pain that I used to do when I used to play football. When I used to play football, I used to spasm up constantly. my back used to spasm kind of thing, and I would be laying down for 2-3 days, not being able to move.
You sure that wasn't because you were physically inept?
Listen, I was a well-oiled machine, my friend.
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I didn't say it was a fact. Okay.
No. So, but even so, it's like you have like your body takes a battering.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And even now, like I said, I'm still very active, but it's a different kind of active, right? You push yourself to a certain amount. You can push yourself more, but like that deep desire to compete kind of dies as well slowly.
Yeah.
I think we become a bit more realistic.
I
Okay, I want to ask you this. When you initially went into CrossFit, did you have the same mindset as mine, where I went in and I was like, okay, I want to compete. I want to be the best at this. And then suddenly I realized, wow, this is a totally different world. And right now there's no chance that I'm ever going to compete.
Not really. Like I said, it was when I went to CrossFit, it was just I was trying to find something to fill a void. Right. I had done boxing and I had boxed, and then I couldn't really box anymore because with age or whatever it was, my blood type was is deficient. So it's a factor 7 deficiency. It's called. So it doesn't clot as well as it normally does. So obviously, boxing is not ideal because
you bleed out.
Exactly. So I had to try and find something else, and I couldn't run long distance. I think I ran enough in my life. I don't want to run anything else, and changing direction wasn't going to work for me neither. So I had to try and find something kind of static-ish. And like I said, my wife now was like, "Listen, I've got a friend who's got a gym. He does CrossFit." Blah, blah. And I went and tried it. No idea what I'm going to compete and do anything. I said, let me just see what this is and try and get back into shape.
Yeah. Listen, there's a little bit of me that understands because I did, around about 12, 13 years of rugby. And I don't know how much you guys know about rugby. And was a forward, obviously, which is, you're right in the fucking middle of the action where there's just bone crunching and stress and pressures on the body at all the times. And I had to stop playing at around 27. Thus, I was always a bit overweight as well. It didn't help, but I could feel the difference in my body was completely gone. My knees, ankles, back was gone by the time I was 27. So I can understand completely what you're saying. Yeah. And I still have these problems today. They never went away. So I guess you guys have the same sort of issues, yeah?
Yeah. I have new problems now. So.
And as the years go by, they will creep up on you. There will be another list coming in the future as well. But that's a part of the aging process. So, you can't do anything about that.
So, okay, we're talking about your career, but I'm really interested in how you dealt with the transition to career to out of career. How prepared were you for that life change?
I was not prepared at all, I think. It's like a footballer, you're like, oh, this is never going to end, right?
Yeah.
This is like, I remember distinctly my father saying, listen, Luke, stop thinking what you're going to do. Start trying to
How old were you when you stopped?
I stopped at 39.
That's pretty shift,
you were slim, right?
Yeah. It was like I said, it was like just any normal season, and halfway through that, my knee just blew out. And there was nothing I could do anymore. I was just like going to the doctor and having like a load of water dragged out my knee, and I was like, what the hell's going off? And I was like, right, cool, I have to stop. I hadn't been paid for about a whole year, so I was like, well,
listen, this stuff makes us super resilient. You have no idea how resilient players like Luke and I become
because of that.
Because we don't play in the Premier League, we don't play in the Serie A. We play in modest football leagues, right?
I can only imagine the transition post football is even harder when you don't have a gazillion in the bank, right?
Oh no, it's like again, it was like for me, it was a case of like I had a little bit of savings because I never really looked after anything. I was always enjoying my life too much to care about that. And it was a case that like I hadn't been paid for a year, and I was still paying my own wages myself because I still had to live. I still had to do everything. And all of a sudden, it got to a point where my leg went, and I was like, right, what the fuck am I doing now? Shit.
Yeah.
And I just was like, fuck, I need a job.
So how did you plan that out?
What? I didn't plan anything. I was like,
I need a job.
No, okay,
I was just like, shit, I need a job. And I had a friend who advertised for something in the gaming company. And I was like, fuck, let me just try and see. And I was like, look, can I have an interview? And he was like, yeah, sure, no worries. Yeah, you can have an interview all you want. Went in for the interview. Did not prepare myself at all. I was out the night before. I got in late. Went in semi-drunk. But I found someone who actually had a good conversation. We had a good chat. We got on well. My character in that sense probably sells me probably a lot better than anybody would do probably. And I got offered the job. The job was just as a gaming coordinator, which I had no idea what that meant. Didn't even know what a casino was. So didn't know what a slot was, didn't know what anything. Like I said, someone just gave me a chance. And the pay was less than what I earned when I was 18.
Wow. That's got to be fucking
And
hard,
that is
man.
devastating.
How did it must have, for a while, it must have crippled you a little bit, right? Mentally. It must have you said devastated is a big word, right?
Well,
So,
the when you look back at it, right, it's like funny. You look at it and thought, fuck me, it's like I was earning more, doing less. I'm working 8 hours and I'm doing stuff I've got no idea what I'm doing. But like I said, the other part of what you learn in football, the other part that you get, like of working hard and kind of thing, just puts you in place to make sure what you're doing, right? And for me, it was a case of just knuckling down, working hard, and like I said, in the space of 5 years, I've progressed into the position I'm in now.
So you really embraced the moment. You embraced the learning.
I wouldn't say embraced it. I just dealt with it. You know, you just kind of say again. You've got to realize that a lot of the stuff that I do is looking after people, supplying them a service, right, and making sure you're in a good place to give them what they need, right, and it doesn't really need a lot of skill. It means you need to be on. You just know what you're doing. You multitask. You're efficient. You work really hard, and you just kind of try and get everything that they need. Right? Yes, you do pick up things. Yes, you do learn how to do things, and you do understand the business a lot better. But again, it's down to work, hard work, right?
How helpful was your career as an athlete in, say, the transferable skills, right? The hard work, the dedication. When you come to a job that isn't sports related, I have this belief that our competitive background gives us a little bit of an edge.
We are built slightly different, right? So there is a different kind of toughness that you've got to have to do what we do, right? To a certain extent, where they say, oh, you only play football, but yeah, you have to go and perform in front of a lot of people and not get fazed by it, which can be very daunting for some, and for others it's not, right?
Yeah.
For us, we get used to that. You get used to that. You get used to putting yourself in situations which you wouldn't feel comfortable in, and you have to work your way through it, right? And that's really everything in life, right? You're always going to be in an uncomfortable position. You're always going to be in a position where you don't know, but you just got to try and see, okay, what can I use to get me out of this, to get me into that place where I am good in what I'm doing, right? And that's really what you do. So the transferable skills that you learn through football are that if, like for us, we were from a different era where you have to do a lot of stuff, right? You have to put in a lot of effort. You have to put in it takes a lot of effort to be a footballer, especially in Malta, or especially if you're not making huge amounts of money, right? You still have the dedication if you are earning a lot of money, but it's a different kind of luxury, right? So for us, some people had to work, some people had to train as well at the same time. Other people trained, but obviously focused solely on that. But you still have to then do everything else, right? If you haven't got the talent, you haven't got the skill, you're trying to improve yourself in your football to be better at that. And that's really what you do in work-wise when you do transfer it from football. You just got to work hard. Me as a footballer was not very talented as a per se, but I was very hardworking and very, very dedicated in what I do, and that's what makes you successful.
I would like to revert back now, sort of angle away from the serious stuff and revert back to your football career. My understanding, and it might be a dream world mentality, is that every footballer has a database of fucking crazy stories. I want at least one, maybe two, of your best, Luke. I mean, crazy shit? Come on, I can see by the grin.
I have a lot of crazy, stupid shit.
I want the big ones. Man. A couple of the
I
big
don't know
ones.
how much I would actually tell you a lot of them.
Right, we're supposed to be an open book on this podcast, you know.
Not on an absolute podcast, but yeah, I can tell you a lot of stories. But again, it's just trying to
give us the ones that are not going to get you in trouble.
It's just trying to remember stuff, right? It happened so long ago. I just, it's
even like, I don't know, childish shit that happened in the locker room.
I'm just trying to think. To be honest, it's when you put me on the spot like this, it's kind of hard because
it's my job, though.
Yeah, but with this on the spot part thing, my brain goes blank.
I remember you and I in the pitch. We used to fight so much.
Yeah, we always did.
And
joke fighting or
No,
real fighting?
no.
Real fighting, yeah.
I got shitload of photos of me swearing at him.
Yeah.
Always the same.
I remember one time I came out for a cross. I punched it, got the ball away. He then I'm super touchy. Super touchy.
Really? I would have never
touchy.
guessed.
Thanks. And he turns around and he goes, you dopey C word that we're not allowed to use.
Right, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
He said, speak, you dopey C word that we're not allowed to use.
Right.
And we ended up drawing that game. You remember which game?
Which one?
We played St. Patrick's away in Ireland.
Oh yeah.
In
Oh
Dublin.
yeah. I think I've got a picture of me going like this.
Exactly. And after the game,
It sounds like
there were times. Okay, looking back, right, there were times where, obviously, you were a lot older than me.
Yeah.
You were a guy that I looked up to.
Thanks, Hoggy.
I think there were times
Sweet,
where
eh?
me, as a keeper, I needed you to turn around and tell me, listen, like, I trust you, I believe in you. And
I never did that, did I?
you kicked me in the ass.
I sort of feel right now that me and producer Michael should leave the studio for 5 minutes and let you guys sort of hug it out or something. Should that happen?
No, listen. For like, I was always, for me as a footballer, it was always a case of being a leader on the pitch for that, and obviously, people always, when I got a bit older, like, obviously everyone starts like Hoggy did when you're the youngest one, and for me there was a lot more responsibility on me as a young kid. So when probably Andrew did need that hug.
Sometimes
you weren't there.
That arm around the shoulder, as they would say.
You were like, "Fuck that kid, grow up."
I wasn't that guy.
Yeah, it was very military.
I wasn't
Military
that kind.
boots and all.
Yeah. It was great for you to interject there, but I still want to revert back to a crazy story. You're not getting out of this, Luke. It's not going to happen. I got to have something, man. Otherwise, I won't sleep tonight. All right?
Okay. Let me think. Can we will come back to it, but like
we'll come back.
I've got to try and think of something. I'm trying to think something that's actually able to be said.
You're a little red in the face
without
now,
getting
so
us into trouble.
Yeah. Well, what can get you into trouble? I mean, it's past history, right?
Yeah, it's just the stories. You never know who's listening.
We've all done. I did so much stupid shit in my life. It's
I did loads of stupid shit.
Yeah.
I did loads of stupid shit.
Yeah.
I used to do a lot. I used to leave on a Thursday, and I actually used to play on a Sunday, leave on a Monday morning, come back on a Thursday, and play on the Sunday. And when I say leave, I used to fly abroad.
Right, to party a bit.
Yeah.
Just,
I was living the life of a footballer that didn't have a lot of money. So.
But that's okay, man. You still live the life, right?
No, yeah. So I used to do stuff like that, right? So I used to, because along the time I used to play in UK and in Ireland and certain places in the UK mostly, but then I used to go and visit friends and things. So I used to like, I had a very close relationship with the president of Valletta at the time, Victor, and he used to say that, you want to go? Just go away, just go do what you need to do. I go away for a couple of days, come back.
That's the president you want to have, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of. I remember a story, but I can't tell you.
You can tell us. I promise you can tell us anything.
There's a lot of stories. I'll tell you them. I'll tell you them later. So I won't send you away without that stories, but I will tell you quietly when you're off camera.
All right, fine. So in the absence of Luke's story, you're going to have to come up with one, Hoggy.
But I'm trying to help Luke. I'm lost in my own mind thinking about moments of Luke.
But
come up with a story of my own.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think yet. Luke, I can see at this moment is very cautious about,
Oh no, it's not cautious. It's just, again, you live by a code.
Okay, yeah.
right? What happens stays away.
You don't want to throw some people under the bus.
So you
sort
cannot
of thing,
do
yeah.
like I can
Yeah.
tell you quietly between us, but I can't.
Right, okay.
Right to die, man.
I'm not going to just blurt out.
I'll tell any story.
Yeah, but
I
that's
don't
the
give a
difference, right?
Well, probably maybe the stories aren't as creative as yours. I don't know, but yeah. Okay, you give us a story, Hoggy, and I demand
wants-
it. You're
he
one of the
wa- he
hosts
wants
of this show.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's never told you any stories.
No. Well, maybe one or two, but none of. I want to hear the crazy football shit. I know it exists. I know it exists.
But what do you mean by crazy football shit? What the stories
All
that you're imagining?
Well, it might be me imagining them. I don't know.
if you're thinking,
Yeah, I know. You got nights out, sort of parties ongoing. You drank too much. Women are sort of throwing themselves at you. You're doing stupid shit. I don't know.
I used to train on a weekday and just be like leaving the stripper club at 8:00 in the morning, going straight to training. But
And be fantastic, by the way.
Were you fantastic?
Yeah,
Fantastic.
Yeah, of
Wow.
course. But that's not a fantastic story. That's not the story you want to be talking about. This
No,
is
no.
stupid shit you do when you're young, right?
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, like I said, this is everyone goes through a little bit of that until you find your feet, right? Again,
I'm loving the sheepish look on his face right now. It's great. Okay, we'll drop the subject.
You want a story from me? Just like I was saying you before we started.
Go on, then.
The one when I walked out of the...
Oh, go on. This
out
is
of the
good.
hotel.
Yeah, this is good. First of all, I find sleepwalking so fucking strange, man. I mean, it's like ridiculously strange. Go on.
Yeah, it's haunted me ever since I was...
Yeah. It's not. I mean, I feel sorry. I feel bad.
One time I
Don't worry
slept walked
about
into my parents' bed.
it. You did what now?
I slept walked into my parents' bed.
Were they doing anything at the time?
No, but my dad thought I was my mom and kissed me on like the cheek and
I
stuff.
thought you were going to say he did something else.
No.
Come on.
Okay, not mummy and daddy,
No, but seriously.
Okay, so you got into bed and your dad kissed you on the cheek, thinking it was your mum.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
How old were you at the time?
15.
Yeah, that's okay.
And then we kind of set up.
If you were like 29, it would have been different. Yeah.
No, but there was one time I remember we were in Azerbaijan. We were going to play the next day. I was feeling like super stressed.
Pressure stressed.
Yeah, pressure stressed.
didn't happen very often. Okay.
With him.
I
was very stressed.
I was highly strung, highly motivated. Right?
Were or are highly strung?
I still am.
Yeah.
No, I'm not highly strung anymore. But I'm highly motivated.
You're a little bit strong, right? I can see it on your face.
Strong.
I've known you long enough to know that you've got certain things that you believe in, right? Would you say that's the case?
Like politics.
Like fucking hell, politics.
Which we strictly decided not to get into.
Yeah. I can be completely open and honest. Right? I don't give a fuck about politics. I know there's a lot of people in this island that do.
Yeah.
And
Definitely not me.
No, not me either. I understand, and I'll say this once and once only. It's first episode. We might as well get off with a bang, right? I understand why politics is in place, but the system of politics is just wrong from top to bottom, and it's not individuals.
Exactly, and I see myself as an agent of change. I see myself as
like a warrior,
like the 007 of change.
Right. Okay.
No, so basically going back, I was highly stressed out, and
Azerbaijan. Okay.
yeah, and during the night I walked out of my hotel room.
Into a nightclub.
Down the
Into a nightclub, unloaded 1,000 euros at the table, and I don't think that's sleepwalking, mate. I'm not quite sure.
That's the excuse he gave.
I was sleepwalking. Yeah, okay.
No.
All right, go on.
No. My roommate followed me out. He took a video.
But would you, like, in this state, because you've done it, would you walk into traffic? Is it that dangerous? Or
I've woken up, say, on the third floor in a lift kind of thing, and with the bounce,
creepy,
with the bounce, I'd wake up and...
Yeah. Does it, when you wake up, are you, like, scared?
No.
No?
Because I'm so used to it.
So you used to, in the beginning, were you, like, super scared?
You still do it now?
Yeah. Or I'd imagine, like animals jumping through the window into a different portal, a different universe. And
You sure you weren't doing mushrooms or something, man?
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I know.
I've never gone there, you know.
I know. I know.
Never gone there.
Never gone there.
Never taken
Okay.
He's never eaten mushrooms.
He's a good boy, isn't he? Yeah, good boy.
Never been to Amsterdam.
Never been to Amsterdam. Now that's
I've been to the airport.
Man, we got to correct that. I think. Luke, we're gonna like boys' weekend. What we're gonna do?
Amsterdam is it's weird. Smoking weed in Amsterdam is not fun. It's
Well, it can
lovely.
be fun.
It's not, because you're just in a different environment, right?
Yeah.
Weed is to be smoked at home quietly and just like.
It depends. I think now you're talking about different types of weed.
Yeah,
Maybe you were smoking the wrong one.
No, it's just like I just remember smoking in Amsterdam and not being able to move. I was just like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
And drinking while you're smoking is really not helpful neither.
Not a good
supposedly.
idea, yeah.
Not a good idea. So
Not a good
doing
idea.
that, and I think I just lost 5 hours.
Yeah.
I just woke up at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, oh, I'm starting to feel okay now. And everywhere was closed. It's like, what the fuck do you do now? It's like, I'm not going to go smoking again. Fuck that. And I was there. It's like, I was like, no, not doing this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you have to be used to smoking to go to.
I think what people don't understand about smoking weed is that you can overdose and not enjoy the experience.
Oh, I know.
You have to regulate what you're doing when you're smoking
It
weed.
was like I felt I was absolutely so drunk and so high that I was that somebody stood here and they were like, oh, what? And I had like Nike Air shoes and I was like walking on clouds. I'm like, and I was still drinking. I was like, why am I making this even worse?
Yeah.
And it was just like, so yeah, it took me hours to get into shape and in a decent enough shape to think, all right, cool, I'm back to normal. I'm kind of half normal.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So that's a whitey.
You can get one. That's not a whitey. A whitey is when your blood pressure goes down.
You said you can overdose.
Yeah.
That would be a whitey.
Yes, but it doesn't automatically have to be a whitey. An overdose can be you get a bad experience. You start getting paranoid. You can't sleep. You start rushing a bit.
White is where you lose like the ability to walk and you.
It's
slightly fall over.
your blood pressure drops. Your blood pressure completely
So-
drops and you faint. That's a whitey. Let's not sugarcoat it here. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks for the
You're
marijuana 101.
But listen,
Okay.
Amsterdam is not just about weed, right? I mean, look, as sort of seedy and disgusting as the red light district is, you have to see it once, right? I mean, you have to go and see it. I'm not saying you have to do anything there,
Yeah.
but you have to go and see it once. It's also a beautiful city, just for
Yeah,
the
it
record.
is.
And even if you don't smoke and you just want to go and party, it's great for that. I'll tell you one experience. First night in Amsterdam, first time. Literally got off the train, was walking to my hostel. There was this club on the corner, and it was called the Cock Ring. That was the first thing I saw in Amsterdam. I said, I think I'm going to enjoy this trip. I didn't go in, by the way, just for the record.
Okay.
You have okay. Are you having a whitey right now? Okay.
It's as clear as a top.
Okay. So back to the football. All right.
Let's divert back. Yeah.
Your best moment as a football player.
Okay, best moment as a football player. There's been quite a few actually. So, I guess it would have been something with the national team. Some formal game with the national team. There was quite a few where we did really well.
Moldova 1-1.
Moldova 1-1 away, beating is it Azerbaijan? Was it? No, Azerbaijan. Was it?
I don't know.
We
I
won.
remember the Moldova away 1-1.
We won.
I remember you fighting in the goalpost.
Where we won 1-0. Michael scored. What was that?
Armenia.
Armenia.
Yeah.
There was Armenia. There was like obviously I can remember playing against France when they were at the greatest, and Turkey at home and Malta.
2-2.
2-2. But obviously I think probably for me was qualifying for the Europa League group stages. I think
With Ajax.
with AEK Larnaca, yeah. Ajax. I think I was the first Maltese player to do that. So
Yeah.
and it was just a different kind of.
I remember when we were away. Remember
And
when-
I was also banished from playing for Malta at the time. So
Banished.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
remember that.
I had a few problems.
Okay. Is there a story to be told, or?
I got suspended for the national team for not changing my hair color.
Yeah, pink hair.
What?
So that was the first one,
Okay,
and then I
interesting.
and the pink mohawk, no?
yeah, and then I fell out with some supporters at Valletta,
I see. Okay.
Yeah. I remember that also.
and I went away because the Victor told me, "No, don't come for the next few days." So I was at home on my
Okay.
own. It's like, what am I going to do? So I said, I might as well go to the UK for 3 days, right? Come back. Yeah, and while I was in the UK, I was like, you go to the UK? I said, yeah, but you told me not to come in for 3 days, right? I'm coming back tomorrow. I'll be back in training. I says,
You're bad.
that's not good. I can't do anything about that now. So they cancelled my contract. So I was without a club and without a national team.
Okay.
And I went to play in Cyprus.
I remember when you came on that pre-season in Serbia, Zlatibor.
With Paralimni,
Yeah, with Parliament. And we shared a room for a week.
You and Luke.
Yeah, Luke and I shared a room for a week. And I remember you had told me that your season in Ajax was the season where in your life you had to put in most mental focus.
Yeah, it was. Again, I was right. So Jordi had gone to be the technical director, right? And he says, "Listen, do you want to come play here?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, definitely." I was out of a job, right? I didn't have anything to do. I was like, "Yeah, sure, definitely, 100%." And again, it was. I think Ajax had just come up from the second division, so it was an experimental kind of season. They weren't expecting anything great, but obviously it was a case where they had to invest quite a bit of money, and they started to bring in a lot of ex-internationals from Holland and all this kind of stuff. So it was like the budget was huge compared to what we were used to, right? I think we had like a budget of about 5 million, and we had ex national team players from Holland and players who had such great quality. But yeah, the first season was there, and obviously it was hard for me because obviously I'm the small nation guy who's come in, and obviously.
Did that piss you off? I mean,
well, not really. It's kind of like, so they had brought in like a certain amount of players who were playing and still playing before me, but they were fucking hopeless and they were not doing well. And then it was like everyone was like, "Look, you'll get your chance." And I got my chance, and that was it. They would never look back after that. But so it was like the first year, I think we qualified in top 4, which from team had just been. Come up to the Premier Division was not something a thing, and I think at the beginning of the season we qualified. So we qualified for the group stages, and then we played in the group stages. We played in the qualifiers. The first game was against the Maltese team.
Okay.
Played against Floriana.
Was that weird? Was that weird?
6 or 8?
8. It was 8. We beat them 8-0 over here.
And being a Valletta player, did you enjoy it even more? Or?
Not really, because I'm technically from Floriana. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You were born there. I read that.
Yeah. So yeah, and then we just every time we just qualified to the next round. We played a team from Czech Republic, beat them. Then we had to play against Rosenborg, and we obviously beat those, and we qualified for the group stages.
That was the group stages experience. That must have been cool, right?
It's really hard, actually. It's fucking awful. Well, it's, the amount
of the quality, right? The
well, it's just like because it's a different lifestyle, right? So you end up. We were professional and everything was great, but we had such a small squad. It was kind of hard to maintain Thursday, Sunday, Thursday, and it's Thursday. You fly to Maccabi Tel Aviv to play there, and then you come back and you're playing on the Sunday, and the teams, like, people are falling. Like, our team was technically kind of old, and everyone's like, "Oh, I can't play this one," and it's just like you're playing game after game after game after game, and it's just like. And I remember that season I played half the season with like my foot this big, because obviously we were injured, and me being me wouldn't take the time off, because hey, I needed to try and secure another year, right? So
yeah, cool.
But yeah, so that's probably one of the best achievements, obviously.
So I mean, I'm just gonna jump onto something you said. You said because I had to secure another year, right? You being a professional football player, your livelihood comes from only football, right?
Yeah.
You really push yourself to the limit.
Well, you do, because you have to. Like, obviously, if you don't perform, you're not getting paid. You're not getting a contract, right?
How much of a toll on your mental health was that?
To be honest, it wasn't so much when I was younger, right? I always, because the way I saw it is like when I was playing abroad, it was always that was the more pressure of when I had to try and succeed, right? So for me to want to play, I think started trying to play abroad from the age of 18, right? So like trying to play from 16 to 17, trying to be a professional footballer, and didn't make it quite there. Came to Malta, did 7 years, and then it was a case of like once that 7 years was done, because the contract finished, I could go away and try again, right? So, and it was always going to try writing letters and doing all this kind of stuff. So that was where the toll of trying to make what I hadn't done before as a younger kid was where the passion came from. So I was always trying to play abroad.
Yeah.
I was always good. So if I didn't find something abroad, I was always, doesn't matter, I can go to Malta and play, because I've got that quality. I can do it. Anybody. I came, no matter from nothing, to the age of 35 in Malta, and I was like, yeah, it's fine. Cool. Somebody in Malta doesn't like me, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
I'll find somebody else in here.
Now, this is a point in the show where I'm going to just divert from this and tell you, everyone, that my balls have gone numb sitting on this chair. I'm sorry. I have to. We're at 1 hour already, Mike, and Mike and producer Mike. We're at 1 hour. We can go a little bit longer. Bit longer. Okay, because the one thing. Sorry about my ball numbness comment, but it's true, man. It's nothing to do with the chair. It's more to do with my saddle.
I think you need to get a sofa in here.
A sofa,
small sofa.
Mike had actually suggested it. A
small sofa. Maybe a smaller table and a bigger sofa.
I think Michael's trying to overcompensate for something with that desk there. You know?
It's the biggest sofa.
He's going to put me in the small booth. Oh no, I don't think I'd enjoy that. I'll keep my mouth shut. Listen, one of the things, Luke, that we want to talk about here on this show is mental health, because I have a long history with it, and we like to sort of give out information for people who sort of may be dealing with it, may have dealt with it in the past, may think something's going on but are not sure what it was. I just wanted to see if at any point you found yourself in a real situation, if you've had any exposure to mental health, whether with yourself or with anyone else close to you, and give us your experiences around the whole subject. Because traditionally in the past, even from men, and we know this, it's been a bit of, men have been not willing to speak up. And I'm not one of those fucking guys anymore. I want to shout from the rooftops. So I'm looking for people with any experiences, or even not, it doesn't have to be their own experiences, or they've been around it in some place, to sort of share their sort of understanding and experience as well. And I got to say this, you seem like a bit of a tough guy on the outside. Is that the guy on the inside as well? Or?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm tough. I look tough more than I am tough, right?
You have a bit of a scowl, though.
Yeah, I do. I can be quite awful. But regarding mental health, I think everyone has to deal with a lot of issues themselves that probably, as guys, you don't obviously talk about it, because it's for us our age, it was something that you don't do, right? It's always like, this shows weakness, this shows being soft, this shows something, and probably along the way you've probably had to deal with certain things which were down to a mental health issue, that you can sort of like, if you could have had help, it probably would have helped you a lot more. But I guess along the way, you kind of, like I said, for me, it's more a case that you go, this is just life. This is how I deal with it. This is what I do. Yes, I have, as a footballer moving on to something, you do see things differently, and you do have to deal with things differently. Like, your life changes completely. You'll never get the highs that you used to experience. Everything just seems bland compared to the things that you used to do, because you were kind of hitting euphoric times which you won't see again. And no matter what you do, maybe if you have a kid, but I don't have kids, so I can't tell you.
Okay.
But there's a lot of things where you don't. And obviously, I've even probably spoken to a psychiatrist myself along the way to try and sort of keep myself in a mental state, or at least try and figure out why certain things you feel the way.
How did you find, speaking with a psychiatrist?
It was weird. I don't think the psychiatrist was the best, to be honest.
Okay. Like back alley psychiatry? Or?
No, I don't know, but it's just trying to deal with your whole life and what you're dealing with, right? But I think what helps me more is being focused and and training. I found that me training takes away that feeling, that kind of like, that's why I push myself so much to train all the time, because it kind of keeps me on that level, like where I get off the anger or the tension that's inside you, that you just need to kind of get it out.
Yeah.
The less time I don't, when I stopped playing football and I stopped doing any form of exercise, 6 months, it was just like my wife, or my girlfriend at the time there, but she was like, go do something, because you're fucking going to drive me nuts.
Yeah.
It's just like, you get to the point where you, and obviously it is important for people, especially guys, to speak about issues that they're struggling with. It's not easy for you to open up and say, listen, I've got this problem. I'm not that kind of person myself, so I find it very hard to say to someone, yeah, you know, but you have to deal with it, right? And help's out there to be had. Obviously, some people are lucky and some people can deal with it themselves and kind of find a way to get over certain things without being, and some others can't.
Yeah, I think it's always levels, right? It's about levels of trauma, levels of experiences, levels of character as well. I think it's I think one thing that you mentioned, I think it really rings true, because it's one of the things that I use in what I call my toolkit to sort of fight all these things. Is you exercise a lot, and that is one of the keys to great mental health. But I also think that you're disciplined as well. And this is another very strong key tool to have when you're dealing with mental health. For example, I'm only recently finding myself in a better space. I had a pretty shitty couple of years. But it's no coincidence that I have a routine now. Wake up 5 a.m., go out for a 4K walk, come back, stretch, go upstairs, do meditation, have a shower, come down, journal, go to work, spend my day at work, halfway through work, meditation, half an hour reading in my break, finish work, go home, do some cooking, and I do the same things in the evening: stretch, meditation, journal. And since I've been doing that regularly, I'm feeling in a much better space. So for people listening out there who may be having their own struggles at the moment, discipline, you know what Luke does. He has, I'm sure you have a pretty regimented routine. Would you say you're a regimented guy in terms of routine?
Yeah, I try to have the routine kind of thing down, right? So my day starts at 5. So I'm up at 5, out the house at 5:30, train for 2 hours, back home for 8, shower.
Hell, 2 hours of training.
Shower, have a coffee with the wife, go out to work. I usually from 9:30 till 7 working.
Yeah.
Get home and then just come home, eat, spend a bit of time together, and then probably I just pass out, start the day again.
Yeah.
And Saturday it's my day again. I wake up in the morning and I go train for 2 hours again. And then I usually sit down at home, either do something or whatever, just alone time kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sunday would be the day with the wife again. Start again Monday. You have to, again, you putting into place things that keep you in line and keep you in check are what keeps you driving, right? If I do a certain amount of time where I don't train, I feel guilty, I feel anxious. So it's like shit. This is not.
It kind of lingers with you, eh?
Yeah, it's just like I said. I guess being a footballer, and that's always been a part, right, of your life. You do lose a lot of things. Like you lose either the adoration that you used to get, you lose the status that you might have had, you know, and all this kind of things. But what keeps you planted is what keeps you sane, and what keeps me sane. What I found that kept me sane was always training. Yeah. You know, even though it's the most awful thing in the world, and it's like, oh my God, I don't feel like it. Yeah. Always up in the morning.
It's always you got to look at it from a physiological point of view, the chemicals and the releases and all that sort of stuff. You know, people who sit on their ass all day, don't do anything. The endorphins, the chemicals just build up, and then they need to be released, and that's what exercise absolutely does. So, really cool, man. Thank you for sharing. Would you? Can I ask you another question? Does Luke love Luke?
Luke battles with Luke every day, I think, right?
Yeah.
So, I think for me, it's. My life has changed from upside down, right? So home-wise, I'm very settled. Everything is great and all that kind of stuff. Luke himself still is an ongoing battle, trying to figure out what is the right thing, where's the right place to be, and what the right thing to do is. Has always been very, very huge.
But it's great that you have that you're aware of it, you know, and it's not like something that's just kind of. A fleeting experience for you, right? It's you're aware of it, and it seems to me like you're working towards it. You know, you've got that structure, you've got the training.
Yeah, this is the structure I've got into place, because this is what I think is working at the moment, right? Whether it's the right thing I'm doing, I have no idea, right? You've got no plan. You've got to take things as they come and go with the bruises and the bumps and the curves in the road, right? So it's trying to find how best you can actually get through life without feeling in such a state that makes it unbearable for yourself.
Yeah. Oh, look, I've sat down with Luke for a bit over an hour. I think Luke's a good guy. Luke should love Luke. I'm giving you some advice, all right? Luke should fucking love Luke, all right?
Yeah,
we love Luke.
We love Luke.
We love Luke.
We all know Andrew loves the fuck out of Andrew, so you got to follow the path.
Well, you've got to, right? I'm guessing at the end of the day, you've got to have that self-love for yourself. It's always hard, obviously, to find that. I think everyone has that need to be better and trying to be better, and sometimes to love yourself for where you're at is not always as easy. But again, like I said, I was always my hardest critic. And no matter what I do, it was never good enough. So again, it's still the same now. Looking back at what I have achieved, these days, like I said, I don't really talk about like football finished. That was it. Well, you used to be a great footballer. It's like, no, it was my old life, right? But you're looking back at things. You do see. You should. There are times when you've got to say, look, I should be proud of what certain things are. You don't do it, but you have those fleeting moments where you go, I did well on that side of things.
Luke doesn't love Luke. I can tell you
No,
now.
but
just like Oz don't love Oz,
listen,
Luke don't love Luke.
I totally relate with him. Huh?
Yeah.
I totally relate to him in terms of looking back and many times not being as kind to myself as I should be.
And we're all in the same boat here. I mean,
even so, it's for me, it's just I try to think as less as possible from the past. So it's even football wise when people would say to you, "Do you want to go play football?" No, I don't.
Not a terrible idea.
No, but it's like no, because it depresses me.
Okay.
It affects my mental state.
Okay.
To the state where it's just like, even just like speaking, like I said, sometimes when you meet old friends and all they do is talk about the past. It's just like I don't want to talk about the past. It's just like
I want to talk about what can be. People don't understand.
The past is like you just feel like people are trying to cling on to certain things which are gone.
Yeah. A guy was speaking to me today, and he was saying, but it's sad that you retired so early. I retired at 36. No,
it's not really early for a footballer, is it? No.
It's like amazing because now I can be and do what I really want to be.
This is what we've just said here is amazing for this reason. You've sort of been contradictory in what you've said here, because you said that you don't like to think of the past because it depresses you, which is a bad thing. But you've also said you look to the future because it's bright and you want it to be bright. So I find that really interesting that you've both sort of said, well, you especially, Hoggy, you said that it depresses you to look back. Or was it you, Luke?
No, Luke said that.
Luke said that.
But
you said you can agree with him. That, for me, is a red flag in terms of, okay, not very healthy mentally. But then you said, it's no point looking back. It's all about the future, which is a great fucking attitude to have for your mental health. So really interesting, man. This has been so.
And I think one of the main the main things here is like our self-worth, how we rate ourselves, how the meaning we have going forward. If we don't have that kind of meaning, if we're not doing something every day with a bit of structure, with a bit of we're going somewhere. We're trying to help me out with this one.
You're trying to achieve something. You have a path. You know where you want to head. You want to follow the path. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to say, there's no point looking back, right?
That's true. No, that's true. You look, as I said, the thing that you said about the past was one thing. What you said about the future is another. That's good. Listen, we're here to have these discussions.
Yep.
We're here to discover all these different things about all of us. I'm very similar in the sense that the reason I don't look back is for completely different reasons. I'm happy to be open about that. Shitty childhood, alcohol in the family, certain amounts of abuse, all this sort of shit that was there. This is a fun fact, not so fun. I don't remember hardly anything of my childhood. I blanked it out completely. Wow. One day maybe I'll hit the shrooms and everything will come flooding out. I don't know. So many people are recommending, dude, you got to do the shrooms, man. It's a life changer for mental health. And I've actually spoken to one or two psychiatrists who have not given it a positive in terms of saying, yes, you should do that. But they just say, very interesting, very interesting. So there's a future for that, I'm quite sure. But I don't look for that reason. But I'm now starting to learn that I need to look ahead. And that's the only thing that is important, because you can't change anything that happened in the past. You can only change what happens in the future.
What happens is if you start thinking too much about the past, you sort of stay in that moment.
That's true also.
And you don't go past that, right? So it's like every time I meet people and you talk about the same thing over and over again, you're always going to reminisce about that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's where you think, it's that's not good for me. That's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's every time. Then you go home, you just like sit there and you're just brooding. Oh, it used to be this. Oh, I used to do that. Oh, I had the time where I goes. Oh, I used to do nothing. And it just festers and festers and festers, and it just grows, right? So you not thinking about that and you not processing that, you not having that on your mind, doesn't put you in that place, right? So then you're looking at other things, right? What have I got to do tomorrow?
Yeah.
Tomorrow's what's next on the agenda. What have I missed? My list of things I need to do, right? Tomorrow I need to do a lot of shit for work, which I keep procrastinating and not doing. And slowly you're just ticking things off, right? That list, and that's really what it is. It's
Always moving forward.
Always moving forward on a list that you just keep ticking off every day.
And it's good to let go of things. It's good to. I'm trying to learn. All right, I'll get there, guys.
It's just carrying around a huge amount of baggage, right?
Yeah, it is. That's what it is, and it's unnecessary baggage at the end of the day because it's of no use to you anymore.
You'll never get rid of it.
No,
it's always going to be there, but you just try to lessen the load, right?
I think people can. There are people who have the ability to get rid of it. Yeah.
I don't believe you can.
Really? You don't think so?
I don't think you can get rid of all your baggage, right? People just, I had a moment, just like everything just felt great. It's like, no, it's
something I truly believe in is right. We can't take control of what's going to happen in the future. We can be excited. What happens in the future is speculation, right? But we can change our history, not in terms of the events that have happened, but the meaning of the things that have happened.
We can reframe.
We can reframe
the way we
our
look at our history. Yeah, that's true. That makes a lot of sense.
And use it to our benefit, obviously.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'll end off this little segment by saying one thing that my therapist says to me at the end of every session, and she looks at me seriously and she says, "Dave, be kind to yourself." And I think that's a message we should give to everyone. Wake up in the morning, just be kind to yourself. Love yourself.
I think being kind to yourself and being kind to others probably is more important. You know? If you drive around water, sometimes you.
Oh, fucking hell! Don't start with that, Luke. Jesus.
People need to be a lot kinder to each other as well.
This is a humanity problem overall, but I think that's certainly a conversation we can go into more detail at another time. We want to introduce a feature. Probably we should have prepared you for this, and I think with future, nothing serious, dude. Don't worry. I think we'll prepare future guests. But it's a little segment called BET, B-E-T. Okay. So that stands for Books, Episodes, TV Series. A book that you would like to recommend, a podcast episode that you love, and a TV series that you're into.
Or a TV
This
series.
is for... No, and.
Okay.
So
one
all
of
of them.
One of each, man.
How many books do you think we're going to read?
I don't know.
But to be honest, to be honest, that book's that lost on me.
Books? No books?
No books. I don't read.
Okay. Magazines? Nothing?
Nothing.
Books.
I'm not a reader.
Okay, that's fine.
Being dyslexic has not helped me, to be fair.
I wouldn't think so.
So it's kind of like just glancing through things. The only book actually, if you want to read a good book, read Slash.
Slash?
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about Slash. What's Slash?
Slash is the guitarist of Guns N'
Oh,
Roses.
autobiography,
Yeah,
is it? Oh, okay, cool.
That's a really good book.
Okay, cool.
You enjoy it. He's got some crazy stories. You like that?
I can imagine. I got to get him on. I need to dig deeper.
Maybe not.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen.
It's got a lot of alcohol and a lot of drugs in that.
I can imagine.
So I think books have not been great.
What about podcast? Are you a podcast guy?
Not really, but like I tend to sometimes listen to Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan's all right, isn't it? Yeah. We're going to knock Joe Rogan off #1 one day.
Yeah, Joe Rogan. The Joe Rogan experience not too bad sometimes. Sometimes he has some decent stuff. I think it's more the clips that are better than the whole thing. Sometimes
he does 2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah, it's long. It's
intense. Yeah.
It's a long chat, right? But then again, it's quite easy when you sat here. I can see why he does 3 hours, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
We haven't even hit anything of that list of things that you had to ask.
No. We're like probably about 90 minutes in now, I think, or something like that, getting close.
And you haven't asked one single question.
No. But we want to. Listen. We wanted this to flow, and it's flown. There you go. What about TV? Anything on TV you watch?
Oh, yeah. I love everything on TV. Let me see. Series.
Something you're watching now that you want to recommend to people.
What have I seen lately? So there was Vikings, Valhalla.
Oh, that's pretty good, yeah.
There was...
You only need to mention one, but if you want
to...
Yeah,
there was the Tulsa King.
Tulsa King, not seen it. Any good?
No.
TV series, yeah.
Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone.
All right. Really?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really good.
Oh,
Watch
wow.
it. Watch that.
Tulsa King. There you go. Okay.
Tulsa King. Basically, he's a mafia, an old mafia, who's just come out of jail, and they send him to Tulsa.
Oh, right. Tulsa's like Oklahoma, right? Or something
Tulsa
like that,
is
isn't
dead, but he just turns it into something else. But it's a really thing.
it? All right, good. Hoggy, BET, give us one of each.
All right, so I'm going to start with the.
Look at Hoggy's got it written down. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
I should
Because I came
have.
prepared.
Honestly, I should have prepared you.
Thanks for the heads up.
But hold
I
on,
know,
hold on.
man,
To
we
be
fucked
fair-
you over
to be
royal,
fair,
man.
I misunderstood. Well, it was relayed to me badly because I thought it just had to be one.
Yeah,
Right?
You
Okay.
might have to use your creative mind for once, all right? Beautiful.
I can lie.
You can lie. That's all right. Yeah.
Okay, so the podcast episode is from the Diary of a CEO. Okay, Dr. Tim Spector, who speaks about gut health, the importance of gut
Oh,
health.
yeah. Microbiome. Yeah, I'm
The
into that
microbiome,
shit,
right?
yeah.
And how it affects it can positively affect our bodies with regards to our overall health, our immune system,
Yeah.
energy levels, and obviously our mental health.
Very cool.
So
I'm
that was
gonna-
a
I'm gonna listen to
really
that.
great
Send me a
episode.
link. We're going to put links in the bio
Yeah.
to this episode,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Okay, books. Geez, I read one recently and I thought it was going to be a real bore, but it was great, and I really like rushed through this book.
What was it?
Highlighting and taking notes. Why We Sleep.
Why We Sleep.
Yeah, Why We Sleep. I forgot who the author is,
Okay.
but
It's about recharging the batteries.
Do you read old school or do you read on tablet, Kindle?
no, I read books.
Books.
Like,
yeah.
and
Soft
highlighter,
cover,
pens,
hardcover?
soft cover.
Soft cover.
Yeah, with all the
I've heard you're a
donkeys'
bit
ears.
soft.
Yeah.
I can be soft. I have that soft.
I got a shitload of books at home if you want. Mine are all for decoration.
And TV series.
TV series. Go on.
TV series, believe it or not, about a gazillion years later, I just started Game of Thrones.
No,
Oh,
wow.
my God.
And I
right.
swear to God, I'm hooked on it because
Yeah,
of
yeah.
the blogger.
Khaleesi.
Okay, cool,
Khaleesi.
man. Very, very good. Khaleesi, yeah. Just a couple of scenes. Ooh, yeah, okay. Anyway, moving on. I'll give you mine now. So, I don't have my glasses, but anyway. So, books. So, my book, I'm actually reading it I'm like halfway through, Intensity by Pep Linders. It's the Liverpool, it was Jurgen Klopp's number 2 who wrote a book
saw
about
that.
last season where Liverpool played every single game possible, even though they lost the last fucking 2. Anyway, that's the book I'm reading. The podcast episode, 3 Simple Steps to Change Your Life by Mel Robbins. You like Mel Robbins?
I like
told
Mel
you.
Robbins.
She's awesome, isn't she?
Yeah, she's cool.
Read her book, The High Five Habit.
Yeah.
Super stuff.
You high
Super
five
stuff.
every morning?
I high five the mirror every morning.
That's
We'll talk about that in another episode for sure. High five
Sure.
in the mirror. And the last thing is TV series. We just started on Disney Plus. It's called The Patient. It's Steve Carell. It's the story of a psychiatrist who was taken hostage by a serial killer who wants him to cure him from killing people.
So this is Disney Plus, right?
Disney Plus,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I got
It's
Disney- I
fucking
got Disney Plus.
amazing.
I'll
Yeah,
have
it's
a-
really good.
I'll have a gander at that one tonight.
It's one of those things that there's no frills. It's just like one or two backdrops, but it's all about the acting and the story. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, really, really good. All right. Should we do the toolkit thing?
We should do the toolkit.
The toolkit thing. So you can do this. We should have prepped you for this as well, Luke.
That's another one. I go like.
So-
Then I have to bring some tools as well. I mean, what am I fixing now?
Well, Mike's studio is a work in progress. So if you don't mind, the toolkit is one thing that you use in your day to make your life more positive.
I'll let you go first.
Ah, I can say it for you. Right? It's easy.
Yeah, I can say it for you.
Yeah, it's his workouts,
Yeah,
right?
it's-
It's
yeah.
your workouts.
no,
That's your
sorry,
toolkit, man.
My tool, is that my toolkit? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
okay.
your toolkit. That's your tool, man.
My tool is working out.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hoggy, you're a bit of a tool. Tell us your tool.
Team Fraser will be very happy with that one.
Team Fraser?
Yeah, because I work out with a couple of people, so it's like there's three other people to this training regime.
You want to give him a
Some-
shout out? Give him a
No,
shout
no,
out.
no, it's fine.
No.
They don't deserve it.
They're dragging you down.
They don't deserve to be podcast famous. Not yet.
Okay, fair
They
enough.
kill me every morning.
Podcast famous.
They kill me every morning. They tell me I complain too much. You know.
No, you complain.
Ah, yeah, lots.
Sarcasm, Hoggy.
Usually because my weights are so heavy.
Unfathomable.
Well, yeah.
What's your weight?
Take off those fucking 20s.
Hey, I thrusted.
I saw them.
Excuse me?
80 kilos, man.
I saw those 80 poor 80 kilos.
No. They were really 80 kilos, and everyone.
No, it says poor 80 kilos.
What does that
The
mean?
form is
Poor
horrendous.
80 kilos. Oh,
The form is horrendous.
Yes,
Really?
listen, hold on. We are ex-football players. Our hips are stiff as hell.
You didn't
right?
go. Firstly, you didn't go under 90, so there are technically no reps.
Right.
We have to review. Okay.
I
But
can.
everyone
I
knows.
reviewed. I reviewed the video
Everyone
twice.
knows.
Twice.
I swear to God, you've been into me for so long, man. And that sounds bad.
It was just
That's
like,
why
it was
he's
like, oh, Hoggy,
listen.
like, for RMs, he's got for 80 kilos.
That
I
was-
was like,
But,
that's good.
look
Listen,
at
I'm
this.
proud of every kilo, my friend.
Look at this.
Every single kilo.
It happened at the beginning of the podcast, and it's happening near the end. It's time for me and Mike to exit the room so these guys can have a few minutes
Okay.
together. Yeah.
So
There might be a circle involved. Or,
my
anyway.
toolkit, right?
Go on, toolkit.
My tool is, we've mentioned it already, but it's to wake up every morning and make that list that is gonna get me closer to my goals every single day.
Planning.
Right? Yeah, planning.
Planning, okay.
That's
And
why he's got the Kindle.
That's
The
Remarkable.
The Remarkable. Yeah.
okay, shout out to Remarkable. Maybe you can sponsor us
Yeah.
one day. We'd love that.
He's been. I think
600 euros to buy that. It's expensive.
I think he works for the company. He's been pitching me for the last 2 months.
No,
Dude,
listen.
you gotta get
Listen. I've had my eye on the Kindle, on not the
Remarkable.
Remarkable for ages.
It
It's
looks
like-
pretty cool,
It's
yeah.
like, oh yeah, remarkable, and then I like let me go on, and for some reason my phone just kind of stays throwing with this remarkable.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like every advert. They
AI,
show,
yeah.
how the hell do you get?
When I spent, and it cost me around 550 euros, when I spent that money on basically a fancy piece of paper, I felt super guilty. I have 2 kids at home. Like I could have spent,
Crying,
but it has
crying, wanting toys, then
it has been the best investment I've.
Ever?
No, it's
A
this
good
year,
investment.
last year. Yeah.
Okay.
No. Like for me, it's like so. I was like looking at it for my work, like because I use paper, right? So like,
Yeah,
yeah.
This is definitely the thing that I need, right? This is definitely the thing. And then I've done the shopping cart so many times, and I've got 600 and something. What can I take off on that?
Wait, let me look at the water and electricity bill again.
Why? The black. I don't need the black pen that you can rub out with. I can get the white one because that's fine.
Maybe I can get it
Because it's
without a
cheap,
cover.
yeah.
Maybe it doesn't need a screen.
It goes
Maybe
for
it doesn't need-
330,
maybe it
and
doesn't
then
need
the
a cover.
add-ons.
Maybe I can afford the chip. Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't. Maybe I could just stay using paper and stop being a lazy bastard. And that's where I got. And now my boss came in with a remarkable, and she's like, "Oh, you should get one." I was like, "No, fuck that." It's
Yeah.
Now you've got one I don't need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now Hoggy's got one. It's even more. This is
That's
gone
it.
on,
It's
on,
not
my,
gonna happen,
on,
right?
on
No.
my off list. Just take it off straight.
Not everyone can be me, man.
There you go. And on that note, I'll tell you my toolkit. It's a very simple one. Meditation. 3 times a day I do it. It's a lifesaver for those of you who are really struggling out there. And I'll say this about meditation. People get discouraged because it's not easy.
I was about
To
say,
sit there and
I
focus.
was about to say I
Yeah.
don't know how you do that.
I sort of just keep going at it. And there are days when I will do 20 minutes and I will be daydreaming for 18 minutes and focused for 2. And there will be days where I'll hit 10 minutes, and those are really good meditation sessions. There is only very few people who can sit down and focus, meditate in the zone for 20 minutes. And those people probably live in the mountains with robes. So it's not an easy thing. We've got active lives. There's a lot of shit clunking around in our minds, but it is something that gives, even if you achieve that 2 minutes, it's just 2 minutes away. It's a 2-minute
What do you feel?
holiday.
Let's say you had that too. What is it that you get from that 2 minutes? Is it that the clarity you quiet
Yeah.
your mind switches
Yeah.
off? What is it? Because I just never see a possibility to switch my mind off.
It is.
I really struggle with it. Like it's something that's probably my hardest thing to do. Just sit down and like I don't sleep hardly because my mind's always on.
But you've done meditation before?
I wouldn't know where to start.
You
Wouldn't know
need
what I
to
need
have-
to do. Just sit there and.
You need to
It's
have guided meditation.
Yeah.
So it's not, you don't make it up as you go. There'll be somebody there speaking, telling you what you need to do, breathing exercises, focusing on certain areas of your life. It's a process, and it's guided the whole way. There are so many different guided meditations you can get, but there's one app that you can get called Calm. I have had it for like 3 years now.
There are
Eh?
We need another sponsor.
So
I mean,
Calm.
because it's important for
No,
people to do. There are a number of apps.
it's an amazing tool.
Headspace.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I've
There's
actually
Digital.
heard about it. I've
Yeah.
actually seen. It's probably popped up on one. Of the
Yeah,
app stores
it's
and all
pretty
those kinds
big.
of
Yeah, it's pretty big. And this is my main tool. I have a couple of others as well, but I use Calm as an app, and it's you just follow what the voice is telling you, and it's about everything in life. Everything about being better in life is about breathing. So it's practicing your breathing, focusing on your breathing, finding a point in your mind where you can stay focused on. You're always going to drift, but you bring yourself back into the meditation, and you don't get angry that you drifted. It happens. So you do your meditation, you focus, you lose focus, you identify that you lost focus, you go back in and you keep going. And that's when meditation helps you. You're going to give it a try, Luke? Tomorrow?
It's kind of hard. I just don't see it. For me personally, it's just like how I like my own time, my own space, right? Yeah. So, but that's what gives me like sitting there quietly speaking to no one is perfect.
Yeah.
It's not. I can't clear my mind. There's no place where I can go. Like I said, if I've got like a busy day with work or whatever it is, and something's on my mind, I don't sleep.
Yeah.
I'm up at the crack of dawn and I'm thinking about that, and I'm tossing and turning in bed, usually because my body's aching because of something, and then I just try to sleep again. The dog's there.
Yeah, I have loads more questions about this, but we'll be here for another 2 hours.
Yeah,
so
and we don't have another 2 hours for sure. So we'll end it off there. Luke, man, first of all, it's been great having you in, man. And
it's a pleasure.
Thank you for like opening up about 65%. We appreciate it, all right? You're going to hit me with some, we're going to meet for a couple of drinks one day and some stories will come out, all right?
Oh, yeah, no worries.
And I will have no recording device on me.
Definitely. Oh, you better not.
I won't.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming in, mate. Much appreciated, okay?
Pleasure.
Thanks, Luke.
Hoggy, we've done our
appreciate
first one,
Yeah.
man. Give us a fist bump, all right?
Too many more.
Too many more. We'll be back next week with another one. I don't know. Should we say who the guest is next week? Should we reveal it from now? Mike, what do you think? Mike thinks no. We'll keep it a surprise. Okay.
Feel the suspense.
But next week we have another awesome superstar celebrity guest who's going to be coming in with us. Slightly smaller than Luke, but probably equally feisty.
Equally feisty.
Equally
Absolutely.
feisty. You would agree with that, wouldn't
Yes,
you?
totally.
All right. We'll see you next week. Cheers.
The content of this podcast is intended for general informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of a qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. The information provided on this podcast is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition. The views and opinions expressed by guests on this podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the podcast host or producer. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, please call 112 or seek immediate medical attention.